The Jews of the Banu Nadir tribe tried to kill the Prophet ﷺ. They were defeated and exiled.
We want to take revenge on the Muslims. Tell Abu Sufyan to attack Medina. We are with him.
Some fled to the fortress of Khaybar, but their hearts burned with a singular fire: revenge. History is often decided by the strength of a sword, but sometimes it is decided by the depth of a hole in the ground.
The year was 627 AD. After the bloody stalemate at Uhud, the enemies of Islam realized that a single tribe could not destroy the Prophet Muhammad. A massive, unprecedented coalition was formed. 10,000 soldiers, including the Quraysh, fierce desert tribes, and vengeful exiles, marched toward Medina. Their goal was simple: total extermination. But standing in their way was a strategy they had never seen, a betrayal that almost broke the Muslim spirit, and a divine storm that changed the world forever. The road to this massive conflict began with a failed assassination. After the Jews of the Banu Nadir tribe tried to kill the Prophet, they were defeated and exiled. Some fled to the fortress of Khaybar, but their hearts burned with a singular fire: revenge. They sent a secret delegation to Makkah, striking a dark alliance with Abu Sufyan. This was no longer just a local skirmish, it was a league of nations, gathering against a single city. They recruited every Arab tribe willing to fight, assembling an iron wall of 10,000 men. In Medina, the news was terrifying. The Muslims could only muster 3,000 men. They were outnumbered 3 to 1. How could they defend an open city against such an unstoppable tide? It was then that Salman al-Farsi, a Persian companion, suggested a tactic never before seen in Arabia.
In Persia, when we are besieged, we dig a trench. A trench so wide, no horse can jump it, no army can cross it. This is how we survive.
The Prophet accepted the plan. For days, the desert air was filled with the sound of shovels hitting rock. The digging of the trench was not just a physical feat, it was a race against time. For 6 agonizing days, the companions worked until their hands blooded. The Prophet himself worked in the dirt, his blessed voice joining the companions as they recited poetry to keep their spirits high amidst the hunger and cold. During the digging, a massive white rock blocked their path. No shovel could break it. The Prophet took a pickaxe and struck it once. A spark flew, illuminating the palaces of Persia. He struck it again, and the palaces of Rome flickered in the light. He struck a third time, and the palaces of Yemen appeared. In the middle of their darkest hour, while they were hungry and surrounded, the Prophet was showing them a future of global victory. This was the hope they needed to keep digging. When the 10,000 strong army reached Medina, they stopped dead in their tracks. The trench was a psychological shock. The Meccan cavalry, the finest in Arabia, was useless. Frustrated, the legendary warrior Amr ibn Abd Wad, a man said to be worth 1,000 soldiers, managed to jump his horse across a narrow part of the trench. He landed on the Muslim side, screaming for a duel.
O Muslims! Do you not claim that your dead go to paradise? Come forth and face me, you trembling cowards! I march!
The air grew cold with fear. Only one man stood to face the giant Ali ibn Abi Talib. The duel was swift and brutal. As the dust cleared, the cry of Allahu Akbar shook the ground. The giant was dead, and the psychological dominance of the Meccans was shattered. But just as the Muslims felt a moment of relief, a knife was plunged into their backs. The Banu Qurayza, a Jewish tribe living inside Medina who had a peace treaty with the Prophet, rebelled. They sent a secret message to Abu Sufyan.
Be patient. We will attack the Muslims from behind.
This was the darkest hour. The men were at the trench, leaving their women and children defenseless in the city. The Prophet immediately sent 500 men to patrol the streets, their loud cries of Allahu Akbar echoing through the night to deceive the traitors into thinking the city was heavily guarded. The siege dragged on. Hunger gnawed at the stomachs of the believers. The Quran describes this moment with haunting precision. The eyes turned dull, the hearts rose to the throats, and you began to think diverse thoughts of Allah. Hypocrites began to desert, claiming
Our houses are exposed. We must go back.
The pressure was so intense that the believers were shaken with a severe shaking. They stood on the edge of the abyss, crying out,
We are dying from hunger, and the Jews are killing our children. When will the help of Allah come?
A man named Nuaym bin Masud from the enemy ranks secretly converted to Islam. The Prophet told him, war is a game of deception. Nuaym, still appearing as an ally to the enemies, visited both the Quraysh and the Banu Qurayza. He planted seeds of doubt, making each side believe the other was about to betray them.
My friends, I warn you as an ally. The Quraysh are planning to abandon this siege and leave, and when they go, they will hand you over to Muhammad to save their own alliance with him. You are being used. Abu Sufyan, listen carefully. The Banu Qurayza have already made contact with Muhammad. They plan to hand over your leaders as a peace offering to save themselves. Do not trust them.
He convinced the Quraysh that the Jews were going to hand over Meccan leaders to the Prophet as a peace offering. The massive coalition began to crack from within. The alliance was broken not by swords, but by whispers. The Prophet raised his hands to the sky, praying, Allah, who sent the Quran, scatter these tribes, weaken their will. The response was immediate. A violent ice-cold wind erupted from the desert. It wasn't just a storm, it was a divine disaster. Tents were ripped from the ground, cooking fires were extinguished, and horses became uncontrollable. The soldiers were blinded by dust and shivering from the cold. Abu Sufyan, realizing the gods had turned against them and his alliance was in ruins, ordered a full retreat. The 10,000 marched away in shame. The trench had held. The betrayal had failed.
Allah had sent an army of wind that no man could see. The Battle of the Trench marked
The end of Meccan aggression. From this day forward, the Muslims would no longer be the ones being hunted